Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah and I like to ramble about books. Today's video is going to be a pretty straightforward and hopefully easy one, and that is the reading habits tag. There are 11 questions that I will answer, and let's just dive on in because I've already tried to film this video once and my dad came over randomly, which was fine, but then my light died and then my camera died, and then my husband was home, so it was time to eat dinner. So now that all that's done, everything is fully charged. I am still working on a baking project, but that is in its resting phase right now, so we should be able to film this with no issues, please. First question is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? And my answer is kind of, but not really. So if you've watched my reading room transformation video, I have a little reading room that's right off of our master that we recently renovated. I have a nice little comfy chair in there, and it's just where most of my bookish things are, and that's kind of my designated reading spot. But I have an entire house, so I tend to read in multiple places in this house. So I will read on this couch here. We have a couch in our den area. I'll read there. And then of course I'll read in bed too. Usually if I'm reading in bed, it's on my Kindle, but sometimes I'll read my physical book there too. Yeah, not really, but kind of. Question number 2 is bookmark or random piece of paper. And I've got to go bookmark all the way. I love bookmarks. I probably have way too many bookmarks. I find they're an easy gift, so I tend to get a lot of bookmarks as gifts for like birthdays, Christmas, that kind of stuff. If I'm placing an order on Barnes & Noble and I'm only a couple dollars away from free shipping, I'll throw a bookmark in there to bump that up. It's super easy, and then I get another one. And then I love little cozy crafty hobbies, so I like to do like cross stitch bookmarks, paint with diamond bookmarks. I have yet to do a crochet bookmark, but honestly that's something I do want to do in the future. Right now I'm working on a blanket, so that's kind of my big crochet project right now, so crochet bookmarks are probably way down the line, but I love bookmarks. So question number 3 is, can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter / a certain amount of pages? My preference, if I can, is to stop at the end of the chapter. It doesn't have to be a certain amount of pages. I really don't care. If I just sit down to read while I'm killing some time and it's only like a 10-page chapter, I'm not mad about that. I just want to make it to the end of that chapter. At the very least, a lot of times authors will do like little breaks in between chapters with like a little, they'll use different symbols, but you know what I mean. I'll stop there if I have to. I really don't like having to stop in the middle of a chapter, and I find I have to do it sometimes when I'm at work on my lunch break. So unfortunately it happens where I do stop in the middle of the chapter, but ultimately I prefer not to. Question number 4 is, do you eat or drink while reading? Yes. Mainly I have a drink around, so I almost always have my water bottle around with me. Sometimes I'll have like a fun drink, like either coffee or like a seltzer or a soda or something. And then sometimes I do have a snack. Not always, but if I'm gonna be sitting and reading there for a long period of time, I just like to have a snack, like chips or crackers or something like that. Just something that's easy to eat with one hand while I'm reading. Question number 5, multitasking, music or TV while reading. This, absolutely no to TV. That is way too distracting. I can either focus on a book or TV, whether that's like an actual show, a movie, or a YouTube video. I can't do both at the same time. That's not possible. Even if it's an audiobook too, because I can only truly focus on one of those things. Music is a yes, but it's a conditional, and it can only be instrumental music. So I have my own playlist on my Spotify account that are just instrumental songs that I like to listen to while I'm reading. I can't listen to music that has lyrics in it while I'm reading, because if it's a song I like and I know all the lyrics to it, I'll just start singing the song, and then I'm not paying attention to what I'm reading at all. So yes to music, no to TV, but music is only instrumental. Question number 6, one book at a time or several at once? Typically I'm a several at once kind of person. At minimum, I usually have a physical and an audio going. Sometimes I'll immersive read them, so I will have the audio going while I read the physical, so that's just kind of one book. So sometimes I'll have a physical, an audio, and an ebook. Lately what I've been doing is, for my ebooks, if one of my current reads that's either physical or audio is on KU, then I will read that on KU so I can read that while I'm in bed and my husband's asleep and I'm just reading on my Kindle, and that'll kind of help me get along further in those books. Long story short, yes, I like to do several at once. I don't really do one at a time much at all, unless it's a book that I'm like really into, because I have done this before where I have the physical, I have the audio, and I even have the ebook, and I'll just like jump between all three of those because I am just like dead set focus. That doesn't happen very often though. I usually like to jump around. Question number 7 is reading at home or everywhere. I honestly read everywhere. My preferred space is to read here at home. I can be as comfortable as I want to be. I can wear whatever I want. I have all my snacks, all my drinks, my cozy blankets, and my cats. Honestly, home is the preferred reading space, but I can read anywhere. Usually I bring my earbuds with me that are noise canceling, so if I'm like in a waiting room or if I'm at work just in the break room on my lunch break, I can just tune everything else out and just read. So I have no problem. I honestly take my emotional support water bottle and my emotional support book everywhere I go. Even if I'm not going to need them, they come with me just in case, because you never know. All right, question number 8 is reading out loud or silently in your head. For this one, I pretty much read silently in my head. I can't think of too many times I'm reading out loud unless I'm reading you guys a blurb or reading to someone, which I don't really do that often. I mean, that'll change once my baby arrives, but typically just read in my head. I guess the only time I could say I read out loud is sometimes when I'm reading and I'm like, I really want to just like get to the end of the chapter, so I'm trying to read a little bit faster. I'll start to like whisper read it to myself, but it's like super quiet, so it's like basically. And I don't know why I do it, but it makes me feel like I'm reading faster. I don't know why, but so sometimes I might read out loud, but for the most part, it's just in my head. Question number 9 is, do you read ahead or even skip pages? And my answer is absolutely not. There's one conditional. The only time I would ever read ahead is I'm literally at the end of the chapter and I have 2 pages left. And I'm on this page and I jump over to this page just to see if what I think is going to happen happens. I try not to do that, but you know, sometimes when it's right there, I just like, but I don't intentionally like flip ahead to try to figure out what's going to happen or like read the last page to like spoil I don't like spoilers. I really hate it, honestly. I want to have that discovery for myself. I just don't see the point really in reading. I know most of the time it's about the journey, but if things are spoiled for me, I'm honestly kind of mad about it. So I don't do that. The only other time I would like skip ahead page-wise is just to see how many pages are left in the chapter I'm reading, or just seeing how many pages are total in the book that I'm reading, but I don't ever skip ahead to figure something out way ahead of time. And I don't just full on skip pages and not read them at all, because then I feel like you're missing something. Like that's the whole point of reading, is to take all the information in, because you never know when something like that, especially with like really good authors, will call back to something. So if you just skipped it, then you'll never kind of get that little reference if it's in there down the road. To me, absolutely not. I do not do that. Question number 10, breaking the spine or keeping it like new. I feel like I'm just kind of in the middle here. I don't intentionally break my spines. I prefer that they stay intact, but I'm also not heartbroken if they do get broken or creased or whatever you call it. I'm not one of those people that's gonna sit there with their, I've seen this on TikTok where they take their book and then they slowly fan it out in a specific way so that when they read it, it doesn't crease. And A, I don't have time for that, and B, I don't really care. You know, if a spine has creases, that just means it's a well-loved book. So I'm not upset about it if it happens. I'm not gonna do it intentionally either. And then our final question is, do you write in your books? And honestly, short answer is no, but I do occasionally highlight certain quotes, and I will put a tab marker in there to indicate where the highlighted quotes are. I don't do that very often. I can't even tell you the criteria for the books that I do that in, like what the criteria is. I usually just try to keep a highlighter on me and some tabs. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes I just know when I pick up a book and I'm about to read it that this is a book I'm going to want to be annotating in. I'm not writing anything in the margins, I'm not underlining, I'm just highlighting certain quotes that I just feel like are impactful or meaningful. And that's pretty much all I do. I don't think that's really ever gonna change. If anything changes, I'll probably just stop doing that. I don't think I'm ever going to go further into annotation, because to me, Annotating takes me out of the reading because then I have to stop, I have to get all my supplies, I have to like write down what I'm thinking, and that just takes me out of the story, which I don't want to do. I want to be in the story, I want to stay immersed in the story, and I feel like that just really takes me out of it if I'm stopping to do that. Sometimes I even find that happens when I'm just highlighting a quote and putting a tab in, honestly. So that's probably why I really don't do it that much, and I don't really have much of a rhyme or reason as to why I do it in the books I do. It's usually more books that are my god tier, but not necessarily either. So I can't give you a shared reason why I do it sometimes, but not all the time. Anyway, that was the last question, so that's everything for today's video. I would love to hear some video suggestions from you guys, what you want to see from me. Obviously there's like a million other book tags out there, but I don't want to just keep pumping out tag videos. But if there's any other like challenges or tags or just any kind of bookish videos you guys want to see from me, let me know and I can try to make that happen. I'd love to hear your answers to these questions. I'm going to post them in the description down below. If you want to go ahead and comment your answers, or if you want to make your own video and just tag me, that would be awesome. I'd love to see what your answers are. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye.